We are now live. Hey players, welcome to another live stream here on my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Josh. Every single week I make videos sharing tips, ideas, and stories teaching you how to be your best self. And in this live stream, I'm going to be walking you through 5 ways to fit in and be liked without changing who you are. I think this is a major struggle that a lot of people face as they kind of move through life, whether in high school or college or post-college, and you're trying to find your place in this world where other people accept you, and there isn't a weirdness or awkwardness of just being yourself and putting that on display. This is a real challenge. I think I experienced it growing up, and I know a lot of you guys have run into it too, wanting to be part of the popular crowd or wanting to have more friends and maybe not feel so alone. So I want to walk you through how to navigate kind of conforming to the norm, being part of group activities, kind of doing what other people do without losing your sense of identity. This is a major thing that a lot of people fall prey to. They lose the sense of identity because they want to feel accepted. But I'm going to walk you guys through that in a little bit here. First, I want to give shout outs to all the early birds in the chat. So if you're someone that's jumping in for the very first time, or you're someone that's a regular here, jump into the chat right now, say hello, and I will give you your shout out. Let's see who we got in here. Let's see, we got Cheesy's in here. Good to have you, Cheesy. Jalen Richardson, Everglow, Flame081, Alex Burns, Alexander Cole, good to have you. Haley Davidson's in here as well. Hamish K, good to have you, Hamish. Music Man, Rage Master is in here as well. Austin, hey, how's it going, Austin? How you doing? Nigel Williams, Everglow says, I'm in class and I don't care. All right, well, good, man. Jalen says, especially the black pill people. Oh, maybe I missed what the black pill comment was. But how's it going, everyone? Let's see who else we got in here. Did I get everyone? I think I got everyone. Haley's, I said, Alex Burns, Nija, Dave Video Studio, good to have you, my man, as well, guys. I'm super excited to talk about this topic because I was doing a little research, really trying to understand what conformity is, right? Why do we feel the need to conform? Is it normal? Is it good? Is it bad? And I want to really walk you through that. But I'm super happy to have you guys on here. Juan Speak, it's good to have you too, man. If you haven't already hit the thumbs up on this live stream, Blue Deadpool as well. Hey, sorry I'm late. No problem, man. I'm happy to have all you guys in here. Corgi Lover Princess as well. Good to have you as well. If you guys have burning questions, if there's something on your mind that you just want to ask, something you're thinking about, something you just need my burning, answer on right now, you can always use the super chat function. Azim, good to have you, man. Jalen as well. McKenna Howard, how you guys doing? Use the super chat function. You can donate $1, $2, $5, whatever it may be. I will stop what I'm talking about and I will answer your question directly. So if you want kind of my opinion, super chats are the best way to get it right here and now. Zaki, Tariq, good to have you guys as well. So let's talk a little bit about conformity. Let's talk about what that means. Right? When we hear that word, it kind of has this negative connotation to it, right? To conform, it means to lose your identity, to not be who you are. You're just doing what everyone else is doing. But as I kind of dived more into it, I tried to really answer the question, why do we conform? Why do we feel the need to be like everyone else or to follow the path of other people? And it led me to kind of this path here. I'll pull it up for you guys here. This is what's known as Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you guys haven't studied it in school, you probably will at some point. It'll come up. But this is a chart that kind of breaks down the different types of needs within our lives. Now, I want to walk you through Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but first I want to get to Nick's burning question. Nick, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Should be popping up in a second or so, but Nick asked the question, what's the difference between talking and dating? That's a really good question, Nick. Let's see if it pops up here. It should pop up in a second or so. But yeah, I would say the difference between talking and dating is this. When you're just talking to someone, you're just kind of casually having conversation, learning about them, just kind of asking questions, sharing stories. To me, that's the talking piece. You're literally just exchanging information, learning about this person, teaching them about yourself. When you move into dating, that talking piece still exists, right? You're still learning about the person. You're still talking. Maybe now you're flirting more. Maybe now you're complimenting them. Maybe now you're making individual plans with them, whether it's a one-on-one video chat or whether it's going to grab pizza at the mall or whatever it may be. Dating is the two of you coming together to act on plans, right? So you may decide, hey, at this specific time, we're going to talk to each other on I don't know, on Instagram. We're going to video chat with each other. Or, hey, let's go out and watch a movie together. Those are dates. They're specific plans you've made with this individual person with the purpose and the pursuit of getting to know them a little bit more romantically, to see if the two of you really connect, to see if the two of you may like each other in ways that are more than just being friends. So that's a really good question, Nick. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. To me, that's the difference between talking and dating. If you're just talking to someone, you're doing it for the sole purpose of learning about them and sharing more about yourself. If you're dating them, that means that the two of you are hanging out with the purpose of trying to see if there's a romantic connection. Hamish, thank you as well for the £5 super chat. Hamish said, Josh, 2 years ago, I lost my friend to cancer. If he was alive now, he would be 24. I cried all day like I do on this day every year. I'm so sorry to hear that, Hamish. I know how difficult it can be to lose a friend and to feel like, they're just not... Hamish, your thing should pop up in a second here, but it's so hard to lose a friend, someone that you grew up with, someone that you cared about. And I think the most important thing that you can do in those moments is to talk about your feelings, to talk about what you're experiencing. And it's okay to cry. Like losing a friend is not an easy thing to do. And year over year, thinking about that friend might mean crying, might mean expressing those feelings. And I want you to know, Hamish, that it's important to express your feelings. Crying is a normal and healthy way to express sad feelings. Like it's a reaction to kind of the situation, and it isn't something you should ever feel guilty about or bad about or unmanly about. Crying is totally normal. We all cry, and it's a healthy response to dealing with loss. So I'm so sorry for your loss, Hamish, and I hope that, the community here can come together and kind of make you feel, not so alone in this tough day. But thank you so much, guys, for the super chats. Let me jump into that Maslow hierarchy of needs here and kind of walk you through exactly what it is. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs basically outlines the different states of our needs in order for us to kind of feel a sense of kind of healthy life, I guess, to live a more healthy life, right? So for example, if you look at the bottom there in red, the physiological needs are our basic things we need to survive. Our breathing, eating food, other things that can tie into that, like sleep and all these different things, going to the bathroom. Physiological needs mean you need to do them to kind of survive and thrive. Safety and security is the second stage up. Like at a base level, we all need our physiological needs met. Safety and security is security of the body, employment. This means that you have a job or you have a sense of purpose or you're doing something that you can maintain your life. Maybe you can work at a job and then make money and then buy food. Maybe you have a roof over your head so your family is not sitting out there in the wind in the rain or something. The third stage here, love and belonging. This is where friendship, family, sexual intimacy, and sense of connection come in. When I talk about conforming and the desire that we have to make friends, to get out there and meet new people, to feel like other people understand us, that operates at this level, the love and belonging. Now, when it comes to self-esteem and self-actualization, that's going to be for another live stream. In this one, I want to really dive into the love and belonging stage. Now, why do we have this sense of belonging? Why do we want to belong? Well, belonging is a totally normal feeling for survival, right? We want to belong to a tribe. We want to belong to a group. We want to belong to a family or a class or a work, family or something like that, because it allows us to feel like there are people that will protect us. It allows us to feel like there are people that see us, that care about us, and it creates a sense of purpose amongst others, right? Humans are social creatures, right? We enjoy talking to each other. We enjoy learning about each other. We enjoy telling stories and hearing stories. So at our core, this idea to conform to the norm, to want to be a part of something, is a normal feeling to have. Now, conformity has its good parts, but it also has its bad parts. And I want to walk you through some of those kind of challenging parts, those challenging situations where you're in a conforming type of situation that you may not know how to handle. And I also want to give you kind of a few solutions so you can kind of maintain your sense of identity and your sense of purpose, just being you when you are faced with these challenges. Let's jump into point number 1 here, guys. And that's going to be this. Informational conformity is the first type of conformity I want to walk you through here. And basically what this means is if you're lacking in knowledge on something, you turn to a group to find answers. Now you guys might see the Q in the background, and that's poking fun at QAnon and all the craziness that's been going on there. But for people who kind of fall into this level of conformity, this informational conformity, basically what it means is that these are people that hear something or are told something or they read something and they kind of just believe it because the people around them believe it, right? So let's assume you're part of a conspiracy theory group and everyone in the conspiracy theory group is saying that Joe Biden is going to get arrested on Inauguration Day. Let's assume everyone's telling you that and they're sharing all these articles or they're sharing pictures saying it's going to happen. Well, you might feel the need to conform to that group because everyone else around you is doing it. Now, that's a wacky example, but let's take a more real example, right? Let's assume the people around you are telling you that, in order to pass a test, you have to cheat. It's the only way that you're going to do it, right? You might feel like, okay, well, everyone else around me is doing it. Maybe I have to cheat. So you just kind of take people's word. You just join in what the group is doing because you don't really know much about the situation. You don't really know what the answers are. You don't know what truth is and what falsehood is. So you just kind of believe what others believe. This is informational conformity. Now, I want to jump in here, and I kind of use this silly example of QAnon because that's a good example of people who kind of have informationally conformed. They heard something, they read something on the internet, and without really diving in and trying to understand it, they just believed it because their peers believed it. Now, it's very easy sometimes to fall into informational conformity if you hear rumors, right? Rumors are another good example of information conformity. Maybe there's a rumor spreading around about someone in your school, and instead of verifying it, instead of checking to see if it's true, instead of asking that person, you just believe it because everyone else in school believes it. Now, this is a problem because what it ends up doing is it can lead you to kind of false information, to false facts, to just not having accurate information to work with. And when you don't have accurate information, that can tend to lead to a lot of mistakes or errors or just lies continuously being spread. So I want to ask you guys this. We'll do a chat poll here. Let me pull up the chat poll here. And I use the example of rumors and gossip and things like that. But have you ever let me phrase this correctly. Have you ever been someone that fell prey to informational conformity? Maybe you heard a rumor and you spread it without knowing whether or not it was true, or maybe you heard someone say something and without really looking into it, you just kind of continued to spread that information because, well, why would they lie? It must be true. I know I've done it in the past tons of times, and I try to catch myself and check myself when I do it now. But I think that sometimes what ends up happening is that we hear something and we just kind of take it on its word. We don't really investigate it or learn too much about it. We just believe that it's true because the person that told us said it was true and everyone else seems to believe him, so why would I challenge it? Have any of you guys ever kind of been in a situation where you've encountered informational conformity? This isn't to say you're bad or you're bad in any way, but it's important to catch yourself when you're in a situation where you might intercept that. So here's what you guys had to say. Don Quixote says yes. Flame says yeah. Nija says yeah. Jalen says, hi, Josh. Since my crush unblocked me, what should I do? Jalen, I'll message you. I'll DM you and we'll talk about that. Everglow says, Josh, I'm failing 4 out of 6 of my classes because I'm struggling to motivate myself to work. How do I motivate myself and save my grades? If I get all A's, I get to have fun. Yeah, dude, I mean, I have a lot of videos on kind of improving your grades and stuff. I think you should check them out, man, and follow some of the tips. I really outline those tips, and I think they'd be super helpful for you. Everglow says, nah, I shut down the rumors. Oh, yeah. That's good, man. Yeah. You know, if you hear rumors and stuff and you don't know if they're true, instead of spreading them or passing along the information or just believing them, always investigate there. Dark Tar says, yeah, on Twitter when I was on there. Yeah, look, social media makes it so easy to continue to spread misinformation, right? You read something, it seems credible, and you just share it out. Alex Burns says no. Rage Master says no. Reese the Beast says, shout me out, please. This is your shout out, Reese. Juan Speaks says yes. Donner says yes. Zachy says if it was a mean rumor or something, no, but otherwise probably. Hamish said yes. Let's see. Interesting. Oh, Zachy says, like, if it was something negative about someone, no. Yeah, I hear you on that. So, yeah, I mean, some of us have kind of fallen prey to it. Some of us kind of are a little bit more skeptical when we hear things like that. But sometimes we might feel the desire to want to participate in spreading a rumor because everyone else is, right? You might feel like, well, everyone else is sharing it. I'm just going to tell people because it gives me something to share. It gives me something to say. So here's what I think you can do, guys, if you encounter informational conformity. If you encounter a situation where it seems like everyone's just believing something because it was said and no one's investigated it, this is what I think you should do, guys. I would recommend question the claims that you hear, to investigate the sources for accuracy, and to do research to discover what made sense. Look, just because people are sharing things, just because people are saying things, whether it's a rumor, whether it's a fake link, whether it's gossip, doesn't mean you have to participate in them. I think in order for you to maintain your sense of individuality here, you should double check and verify the things that you hear. Because if you join along and just spread false things like everyone else is, I think you're perpetuating the problem and you're adding more fire to the flame. More fire to the flame? More wood to the flame. Do you add fire to a flame? You add wood to a flame. You're adding more wood to the flame there. So I would recommend this. If you encounter something that people are sharing, question it. Ask questions. You might even want to ask that person, how did you hear that? Or how do you know that it's true? Or how can you verify that? If you can't, if there's no way for you to kind of verify whether the rumor or the website or the link or the story is not true, don't take it at face value. Don't believe it, guys. Fire to the flame. That's right, Dono. So that's what I would recommend you guys do when you encounter this informational conformity type of situation where people are kind of just spreading things and no one's really double checked or fact checked it. But I wanted to share that one with you. And we're going to walk through the rest of them there too, guys. I want to move on to the second point, but no, you don't add fire to a flame. You don't add fire to a flame. All right, let's take a 2 second water break here. You have to, shake it so that the water, mixes with the air and you get the, okay. My refined water palette. Okay. But that's the first point I wanted to share with you guys there. I want to move into point number 2 here. So let's jump into it. I'm just reading to what you guys are saying. Alex Burns says, rumors, I don't believe it. We have to wait if it's true or not. Exactly. Water Blake. I did say Water Blake. Yeah, Alex, I think you nailed it on the head there. Like when you hear something, instead of just believing it, really try to investigate it, because that's going to allow you to stand out and be your own individual, even amongst a group of people that you want to win over. Ace Record says, Josh, how do I avoid bad thoughts such as negativity? Look, I think the way to kind of avoid bad thoughts is bad thoughts are going to perpetuate in your mind, right? They're going to come and go. But when you find yourself thinking negative thoughts, I think it's important to ask yourself how you choose to act on those thoughts, right? So you may choose to act on them by being upset with yourself, being upset you're thinking them. You might choose to yell or scream or take it out on someone else. If you're experiencing those negative thoughts, try to prepare ahead of time by having things that you can do that can be calming. That can be relaxing, that can be meditative, right? So here's an example. Maybe you tell yourself, you know what, whenever I have negative thoughts, I want to sit down in my room, sit on my bed, and just meditate for 5 minutes. I want to close my eyes and just breathe for 5 minutes. You tell yourself before you have the negative thoughts that this is going to be the action plan. So when you do experience those negative thoughts, when you are down on yourself, when you are thinking everything sucks, okay, what can I do? Well, I know I can meditate. That's something I've prepared ahead of time. And you can jump into doing that. I think a lot of times you can't always stop the thoughts from happening, but what you can do is choose your actions that are how you carry out those thoughts. And it's important to find ways to carry out your thoughts that aren't harmful to yourself or anyone else. Reese the Bee says, hi Josh, your videos have been helpful to me. Thank you for providing source for friendly service. No problem, Reese. I'm happy I could be helpful in some way, man. All right, let's get into point number 2 here, guys. And that's going to be this. This is the second type of conformity you might run into. Normative conformity. This means changing your behavior so you can better fit in with others. You might see normative conformity happen with people that join a fraternity or sorority or become part of a community, and everyone around them is acting a certain way or talking a certain way or using a certain type of language, right? So a good example of normative conformity, like I said, is a fraternity. Let's say you go off to college and you want to make friends. You don't really know anyone. And you decide, you know what, let me join a fraternity. Let me get to know people that way. Well, you might start to notice, okay, in this fraternity, maybe everyone drinks beer all the time, or maybe they cut class, or maybe they all wear the same type of jacket, or maybe they just, bully other people. Maybe they just do things that everyone seems to be doing, and you want to feel a part of that group. You want to feel like, okay, I'm just like one of the other people. So you start to change your behaviors to better fit in. This is something that can affect us. It's something that can happen. And it's a pretty normal thing that can happen, right? We want to be like the main group. We want to be like everyone else. But I think what you have to realize sometimes is where it can actually go wrong. There's nothing wrong with trying to adapt to a group or kind of understand their way of doing things, right? Maybe, for example, you join a music group, and maybe before everyone plays music, they all decide to wash and rinse their instruments. Let's assume that's what they do at the beginning. You might say, you know what? Everyone else washes here. Let me wash it too. I want to kind of be part of this pact and what everyone else does as well. Right? That can be an okay, totally normal thing to do. But normative conformity can also go bad. Let's assume you join a college fraternity and everyone just drinks every day, like downs beers and everything. Now, you might want to fit in, so you might find yourself taking on those bad habits and bad actions. So I want to jump in and do a chat poll here, guys, and ask you guys this. Have you ever felt the pressure to conform in some kind of way? You can write yes or no in the chat, but I would love if you guys also kind of gave an example for yourself of maybe where that happened, right? So this can happen too. I keep burping. This can happen too if you are joining something where maybe you don't have a lot of friends, and this is your opportunity to kind of make new friends. You might try to observe what's going on, and well, if I could just do what everyone else is doing, maybe they'll just accept me. Part of the problem with that is that you might end up losing a bit of your individuality because you want to be accepted, or you might hide things because you don't want them to know because you might not get accepted. But I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. Jump into the chat. Have you ever, the question I asked was, have you ever felt the need to conform, to kind of feel accepted for who you are? I want to hear what you guys have to say here, and we'll jump in and see. Corgi Lover Princess says not really. Nija says yes. Dark Tar Official says yes. Jonathan says yes. Panda Manda says yes. Jalen says yes. A special needs class. Jalen says yeah. It isn't an easy mental battle to face. Arrowlight says, damn, I haven't seen your channel in a while. You helped me out back in middle school. I'm a freshman in college now. That blows my mind. The fact, it's so crazy when you guys tell me things like that. Like, hey, I started watching you when I was in middle school, and now I'm in college. Like, I'm happy that I was part of your journey, and thank you for being a part of this experience too. Azim said, watch your videos on drinking, never will drink. Awesome, Azim. I hope that video kind of outlined the points well enough there. But yeah, that's good to hear, man. Let's see. Jalen says, I guess, yeah. Synchro Legend says, yeah. Rage says, not really at all. Yeah, okay, so that's good. Alex says, no, I don't fit in with anybody like who I am. I hear you on that, Alex. FXS says, yeah, yes. So, okay, so we got kind of a mixed bag. Nihilix says, yeah, as well. Got kind of a mixed bag there in terms of, how people or who felt like they had to conform, who hasn't had to conform. I feel like regardless of whether you have or haven't, there are moments where that pressure is put on us to do it, right? Maybe you enter a situation and everyone is doing something and you want to not be the oddball out, so you kind of just go along with it. I think we've all kind of been in situations like that, or we just kind of stay quiet and don't really do anything. We just kind of like let it happen. I think that it's okay if you observe that the behavior is something healthy and positive, but if it's something negative, well, then it needs to kind of be re-examined. So here's what I think you should do if you're in a situation where you feel like everyone is conforming and doing something you think is kind of bad. This is what I think you should do. Establish personal boundaries and practice understanding others. Be okay with not being a part of everything. If you guys saw my video on Tuesday, I kind of I tackled this a little bit when I talked about peer pressure. I gave the example of how growing up for me, everyone around me, all my friends were drinking, right? They used to drink all the time. I've never drank alcohol before in my life, but I always felt that pressure from other people to do it. Other people, like when we went out to bars or we hung out at people's houses, what do? Everyone drinks and hangs out and talks. So, for me, the key was establishing personal boundaries. I told myself, you know what? I don't want to do this. It's just not something I'm interested in. So the boundary for me was telling people I'm not going to participate in that action. But the element of practicing understanding really comes down to recognizing that other people think differently. Other people have different opinions or different thoughts on situations. So I was always trying to be understanding of where other people may come from and the choices they make for themselves. That's a key piece, and it's something so important to think about, that if you make a decision for yourself, it doesn't serve anyone to sit there and judge that person for making a different decision. Recognize that we all are on our own paths in our lives and we all make our own choices. So, that's a key piece of really practicing that understanding, and then also being okay with not being a part of anything. It's something I also mentioned in my video on Tuesday where I talk about FOMO, right? I'm sure you guys know what FOMO is, the fear of missing out. You're kind of afraid that if you don't participate in things, then people will forget you or not like you or think you're weird or they're just not going to invite you again. So you want to participate in it because you don't want to be left out. It's okay to be kind of excluded from things sometimes. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say, you know what, this just isn't right for me. You guys can go along and do it, and I'm okay with that. That's how I think you can battle this normative conformity, by recognizing that you don't have to participate in everything. It's important to set up healthy boundaries for yourself so that you don't feel pulled into things that you're just uncomfortable with. Now, I'm going to jump into point number 3 here because I want to try to keep this within the hour. But if you guys are enjoying the stream, hit the thumbs up button. We're at 41 likes. I think we can get this to 50 likes by the end of the stream. I think we could do 50 likes. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up, guys. All right, let's get to the third point here, and that's going to be this. Oh, wait, I want to see what a few people said here. FXS says, I feel like I've established personal boundaries really well and have very rarely been judged about it. That's awesome. Yeah, look, if your friends are truly your friends, they'll be understanding of the fact that you have boundaries for yourself, of things that you're not comfortable with. And that's not to say your friends won't try to push you and nudge you to do it, but I think ultimately they should be understanding. They should recognize, hey, you know what? We respect you. We understand your decision, and we're not going to make you feel bad or guilty for choosing otherwise, choosing against what everyone else is doing. Reese says it's okay to be an outcast. Yeah, definitely. I think that it's okay to recognize that you don't want to be part of the in-group in every possible instance. It's okay to say, you know what, I'm going to take 5 on this one, guys, and do my own thing. All right, let's get to point number 3 here. That's going to be this, guys. The third type of conformity is identification. Now, this tends to happen when, you're altering behaviors to fit a role that is expected of you. Now, this one's a little tricky, but I'll give you an example. Identification here in conformity might be this, and I want to know if you guys have ever experienced this. Your parents want you to perform really well in a subject because they want you to study a major in college and get a certain job. Maybe your parents tell you, no, you're smart, you're going to become a doctor. And you feel the need to, sacrifice the things that you like, to not pursue them because other people, your parents, your friends are telling you should do something. They're telling you what is expected of you. So you're altering your behaviors to fit a role, right? Maybe people in your family have always been scientists, or, have always studied science. And because you're part of the family, you feel like, well, I have to do that. I have to do it because everyone else does it. Or everyone's going to think it's weird if I don't. Everyone's going to think they're going to be disappointed in me if I don't do this. This type of the identification conformity occurs a lot, like I said, from parents. Parents put a lot of pressure on you to conform to what their ideals are of you, right? No, you're an A student. You have to pass all your classes, right? They think they have this idea of you, and they are trying to make you conform to it. And it can be tough. It can be super stressful. It can make you feel like you're not being seen. It can make you feel not respected or heard. And it can make you feel like you're abandoning the things you care about just because other people think you should be doing something else. Now, I dealt with this, and I've shared this kind of in a video before, when I talked about kind of when I started college, that my parents, originally told me, hey, Josh, you're good at computer science. Why don't you do computers? And I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I just figured, okay, well, my parents say I should do this, so I did it. And when I was taking my computer science classes in physics, I hated it. I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was so stressful and it just wasn't fun. So I felt the need to kind of conform to their vision of what they wanted for me, and it sucked. It took a while for me to step out eventually and to say, hey, I don't really want to do this. So I want to do a chat poll here and ask you guys this. When we're talking about identification and, like wanting to fit a mold of something that you feel that you should. Maybe it's set by someone else, set by family. Have you ever felt pressured to fit into a mold of someone else? And if you have, who was it? Was it a parent? Was it a friend? Was it a coach or a teacher? It can be super, super stressful to deal with. I know, I've been there. Scott says, studied this in psychology. Identification was the weirdest one of the three we learned about. Yeah, it's definitely a weird one of why we feel this desire to do it. In a way, it's like we don't want to disappoint others. We don't want them to feel like we're doing something different and they're going to look down on us. So we just kind of mold ourselves into what we think they want to see. I want to hear what you guys had to say here. Let's pull up the chat. Rage Master says, not at all. That's awesome, Rage. Hamish says, I don't know. I'm just a very strange, odd person. Hamish, I think your strangeness and your oddness is what makes you so lovable, man. It makes you such a fun person to talk to. So embrace your awkward, dude. Embrace it. Let's see. Nilix says, but she's not my class. Oh, you're talking about something dating related there. Reese says, basically just do what you're good at doing. If your girlfriend does sports and you feel to like your girlfriend more, you have to do sports. Absolutely not. She will understand. Yeah, I think that's a really good example too. You might feel the pressure to be really good at sports if your girlfriend likes sports. So, I think that this idea of wanting to conform what someone else wants you to do can be super harmful. It can really stretch you thin and kind of confuse you, right? Because like you pursue that path, and for a while it's just like you're just waiting for the person's approval. And if at the end of the day you just don't enjoy it, well, you've kind of wasted that time just trying to get someone else to like you back there. Alex Burns says, Josh's song fits choosing parents and friends between Perfect or Welcome to My Life by Simple Plan. It's kind of harsh. Yeah, dude, both of those songs are amazing, man. Scott says, I had to pretend to be someone I wasn't for most of my life. I'm thankful for my current friends who accept me for who I am and like me for it. That's interesting, Scott. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that, man. I'm curious, can you elaborate a little bit more on that? When you say you had to be someone that you were not for most of your life, are you pretending to be someone you weren't? What do you mean by that? How did that play out? What did you feel like you ended up doing to kind of fit the mold or pretend to be the character that other people wanted you to be? Jalen says, I'm glad I never felt like I had to be like someone else. Yeah, that's awesome, Jalen. Yeah, I'm going to cover that. That's also another point on this, too. I'm going to cover that one as well. Carter says, I still try and keep on failing. I'm sorry to hear that, Carter. What is one thing that you are trying and working on, but you're just running into a lot of roadblocks? Azim says, as of right now, I think isolation has given us enough time to really develop ourselves so we don't have to face peer pressure. Yeah, I guess that's the silver lining piece of kind of being in isolation. It's kind of allowed a lot of people to kind of explore, to be creative, to try things out, without the repercussions of having to do it, let's say, in front of your classmates or so. You can just go online and try something new or explore a new hobby without people really knowing. But that's a really good point, Azim. But I'm going to get into the fourth point in just a second, but I want to walk you guys through a few things here. Hamish had mentioned before that, he feels like he's a strange, odd person. And I understand where he's coming from. I think to some degree, we're all a bit strange. We're all a bit odd in our own ways. And one thing I mentioned to him was kind of to learn to embrace his awkward, to be okay with the weirdness and the kookiness of his character. I think we all experience that. We all have our own sense of humor and our own sense of being. And I talk more about that in my book, Embracing the Awkward. If you haven't already checked it out, I would definitely recommend. It's available on Amazon. So if you go to thejoshspeaks.com/awkward, it'll take you to the Amazon page. There's an ebook. There's a print version. There's an audiobook coming soon. So I would highly, highly recommend checking that out. It's a guide I've put together where I walk you through. Oh, man. I always yawn when I'm talking and the room is really hot. Anyway, it's a guide I've put together that walks you through how to navigate school life and relationships. I feel like those are the three areas of your life that you might feel you're struggling with or need a little help. This book, I think, will be super, super helpful for you. Now, Scott, I know you responded there. I want to pull it up. Scott said, I felt the need to change my personality to fit in with my old friends I had. Felt the need to pretend to be more masculine, like things I didn't like. Yeah, I think that's a really, really good point, Scott. I think that's definitely a way that conformity can kind of hit us, right? If all your friends are kind of acting in this hyper masculine way, you might feel like, well, I need to keep up with them, or else they're going to think I'm weird, or else they're going to think I'm not one of them. So, I think it's so important for you, and I'm so proud of you for kind of recognizing, hey, this is not who I am. This is not what I enjoy. This is not how I look at the world. And stepping out and doing your own thing, man. That's exactly what we're talking about here when it comes to kind of just learning to fit in while not sacrificing who you are. Let's read some more of these guys. Carter says, usually it's with my gaming or setting up my gaming account. I keep on losing each time I try. I hear you in that, Carter. I guess whatever game it is that you're playing, what I would recommend is look up tutorials on how to get better. I'll give you an example of that, guys. Back in the day, I used to play Super Smash Brothers all the time with in college, right? Just nonstop. We'd play every single day. And then I discovered a website called smashboards.com. I don't even know if it's still active, but smashboards.com. And I learned how to do all different kinds of techniques with every single character. I learned how to do things like wave dash. I knew how to do things like edge guarding and how to like short hop and all these little techniques that were in the game that I learned by watching videos, by reading tutorials, by practicing with my friends. So if you're struggling in a video game that you're playing, try to really watch tutorials and learn how to get better, because a lot of times we just kind of play and we just hope we win, but you can actually practice, learn the controls better, learn how to switch items better, learn how to do whatever it is that you're doing a little bit better. Reese says, peer pressure can lead to depression because you are not letting your characteristics grow. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're peer pressured into doing something you don't want to do, you are hiding yourself and sacrificing a bit of yourself for the sake of others, so that other people will, accept you, or just not even only just accept you, but not come after you, right? Sometimes we conform for safety. We conform because we don't want people to notice, or we don't want people to make fun of us. So it can be an incredibly difficult thing to deal with. Rage Master says, peer pressure is a form of bullying. If you peer pressure, you're a bully, so stop. Absolutely, Rage Master. I think you hit it on the head there. Rage Master also says that people with autism and people with disability special needs are like other people. Absolutely. I think that we feel the need to separate others based on their accessibilities or their able-bodiedness or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, we all want to be loved for who we are. We want to know we can express that love for others. We want to feel seen and we want to feel heard. And it doesn't matter who you are. That's a human characteristic. It's what we all want to some degree. So no matter who you encounter, always recognize that about them. Recognize that they are a person and they bring their thoughts and their feelings and their experiences to the table every time you interact with them. Hamish, thank you so much for the £2 super chat. Hamish said, Josh, you should create a gaming channel. Dude, I haven't like sat down and played a video game in so long. Maybe I'll do like a gaming night. I definitely want to be part of it. I know that we mentioned in the Discord doing a gaming night. So I guess I'll shout it out since we're there. Guys, if you don't already know, we have a Discord community. This is a community of people that are working on being their best selves. If you're looking for a place where you can make friends, where you can ask questions about dating and life, you want to share your story or get answers or even help other people out, join our community. I think it'd be an awesome place. I'd love to have you as a member of it. And we've been talking about kind of doing different things like gaming nights and, like trivia nights and all these different kind of fun activities in there. So we're going to definitely set something up. Maybe we'll do a night where we'll play Among Us or something like that. It'd be super, super fun. Light mode. Everyone hates that I use light mode on Discord over here. I know. I have light mode on everything. No dark mode for me. But I would love to have you guys as part of the Discord. Dono shared the link in there. You just got to go to the joshspeaks.com/Discord. It's a free and open community for everyone. It's inclusive. It's welcoming. We don't hate on anyone. We don't make fun of anyone there. We don't attack anyone. It's a place where just you can be yourself. And I think that's an awesome, awesome thing. But Josh being OG with the light theme. I know. I got light theme. Everyone makes fun of me for it. I also want to say this, guys. If you have a question, that you just want to ask me off of the stream, just a general random quick question, you can always shoot me a text message. This is my texting number, 1718-400-7129. I use it through an app called Community, which allows me to kind of send mass texts and also respond to people individually. So if you have a quick question and I haven't answered your Instagram DM or I haven't responded to your Discord message, shoot me a text message. It's probably the best way to just quickly chat with me here and there. All right, let's jump into some more stuff here. Everglow says, "Hey, Josh, I heard you can see your future in a glass of water, and I believe it. What do you think about that?" All I see is the chat. I know. The light theme is killing everyone, or if you're a boomer. But yeah, guys, so that's what I wanted to share there. Join our Discord. I'd love to have a part of it. And my book, Embracing the Awkward, I think it'd be super helpful for you if you want to kind of break down a lot of the ideas that I talk about in my videos. I've written them out in that book there. All right, let's jump to point number 4 here, guys, and that's going to be this. This is the 4th type of conformity you might encounter, and it's an internalization. This type of conformity is when you're wanting to change yourself so you can be more like someone else. This isn't so much people putting pressure on you to change. This is you feeling like you need to change in order to be like someone else. This might mean dressing like someone else, talking like someone else, or just looking at yourself in the mirror and feeling like you don't want to be you. You want to be someone else. You feel like what you bring to the table maybe just isn't good enough, and that you want to be like someone else who's more popular or cooler or just has their way in talking to everyone and always, just everything seems smooth for them. Everything works out. This is a major, major challenge, I think, for a lot of people because, look, we do get jealous of others. We do compare ourselves. We do feel like we're not good enough based on what others have accomplished at our age or in different places. But I want you guys to really, really think deeply about this. This idea of internalization can really, really affect you and make you feel like you're not good enough, make you feel like what you bring to the table doesn't matter. And I want you to know that what you bring to the table does matter. Now, like I said, there's an element of this internalization which can be positive, and that might mean you have a role model of some sort that you want to emulate their behaviors because you admire what they do, right? For me, part of it is when I see Mr. Rogers or I learn something about Mr. Rogers, it makes me realize, you know what? I want to be more like him. I really admire what he's done. I think he's an awesome person. I think that he's educated and he's kind and he's caring. And those are skill sets that I want to emulate more. So that can be a healthy way to display it. A non-healthy way would be you see someone in your class or you see someone at school, or even worse, you see a celebrity on Instagram and you just want to be like them. You just want their popularity. You want their fame. You want their coolness. You just want to ditch yourself and become them. That's where it can become a major problem, this sense of conformity. So I want you guys to think about this. I'm going to jump into a chat poll here because I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say. Have you ever felt the desire to want to be more like someone else and less of yourself? Maybe you wanted to kind of kick yourself to the curb and just be someone else. Everglow put it perfectly. Admiration versus obsession. Learn the difference, people. Absolutely, man. To become that level of obsessed where you want to conform and be that person where you're no longer yourself. Growing up for me, I don't think I mean, other than like seeing maybe cool and popular kids, I'm always like, oh man, I wish I was them. I wish I had the lifestyle they did. But as I got older, I learned to really just love who I am and appreciate, what I bring to the table. I think I do my best with what I have. And I think we all do the best with what we have. Alex Burns says, I mentioned Pierre Bouvier. For me, I love him and I love his music. Yeah, exactly. And it's that level of admiration versus obsession that we're talking about there too. So I asked you guys, have you ever felt like you wanted to be someone else? Rage Master says yes all the time. Synchro Legend says yes. Dark Tar says yes, especially in middle school. Sorry. Reese the Bee says no because I'm not influenced easily. Cool, man, cool. Grace says yes. Hamish says, damn, I didn't know Mr. Rogers passed away in 2003. Yeah, it was a long, long time ago, man. It's been a while, but, I think his presence still lives on, as you could see in all my Mr. Rogers stuff. Azim says, will acting like a role model such as a celebrity make you obsessed with wanting to be like them instead of being yourself? How much practice does it really take to be your true self? That's a really, really good question, Azim. Here's what I think. I think that if there's a celebrity that you admire, you have to kind of think a little bit deeper than just, oh my God, I love them, I want to be them. And I'm going to dive in when I share kind of the things to think about here and things for you to try. But I want you to really, really kind of tap into that and ask yourself, why do I like this person? What is it about them that I really, really enjoy? And if I was in their situation, how much of myself now would I have to get rid of? How much of myself now would I be sacrificing? Because a lot of times it's like we look at a piece of someone's life. Maybe we see a picture, maybe we see a movie, maybe we watch a video about them, and we assume that's the whole of their life. But we're only basing our perception of them on a small little piece that we know about them. So instead of kind of being willing to sacrifice and ditch your whole life for this small little piece, try to learn more about them. Try to really understand their journey and how they got where they are. Because understanding their journey is going to help you better get more connected to what you like about them and what you want to emulate, rather than just wanting to be them. Rage Master says yes all the time because all my friends and random people on social media are in relationships and I feel jealous because I want to do that just like them. I hear you on that, Rage Master. Reese says, isn't footballers technically doing internalization because they look up to someone and then that is their reason for playing football? Yeah, Reese, and that's why I was saying it's like it's important to know the difference between admiration here, where you look up to someone and you say, wow, one day I want to be a football player just like them, right? And to tell yourself, oh my God, I'm not a football player. I suck. Oh my God, I'm never going to be as cool as them. I'm never going to be as good as them. That's where the conformity can kind of lead to a negative spiral there. So here's a few things that you can do if you find yourself in that admiration place so that it doesn't head into the negative route and it heads into the positive route. This is what I think you could do. Think about what you admire about others and accept that you are different and have your own way of being. This is so, so important, guys. Look, there are some people that have charisma and style and good looks, but they are who they are and you are who you are. And it's important to recognize that you have your own way of moving through this world that's different from them. Doesn't mean it's bad or worse. It's just different. So think about what you admire about them, right? Like I give Mr. Rogers as the example. And what I admire about Mr. Rogers is that he was a very kind and compassionate person. And when I see his interactions with others, I enjoy that. It makes me realize, you know what? I want to emulate that for myself. But I know that I'm just Josh. I know that what I'm bringing to the table is me. So I'm going to do my own version of that kindness and compassion that's similar to Mr. Rogers, but it's me at the end of the day. And I think that's important to think about, guys, to really, really think about that. You're bringing yourself to the table, who you are, the things that you like, what makes you you. And while you may want to be like someone else, it always is going to come down to how you manifest that in your life, how you carry yourself, because you can never be them, but you can understand what they do and you can do it in your own way. All right, let's get into point number 5 here, guys. And that's going to be this. This is the 5th kind of level of conformity that I wanted to kind of walk you guys through and talk a little bit about here. This one is compliance, right? So compliance is adjusting your behaviors to fall in line, even if you disagree with a group. Now, compliance, as you can see in the picture, one easy example of compliance is going along with your friend bullying someone else. Maybe you see your friend bullying someone and, well, you don't want to interfere because they're your friend and it's going to make things weird if you step up and say something. Or you have a friend that might be sexually harassing someone else. Maybe they're saying sexual things and making a person feel uncomfortable. And you don't want to call out your friend because it's going to be weird and awkward. So you kind of just let it happen. You don't speak up. You don't say anything. This is a form of conformity that can actually really, really hurt other people as well. Because when you see something that you know is wrong, something that makes you feel uncomfortable, it's important to speak up. It's important to share your thoughts. It's important to call people out on those behaviors and those things that they're doing. There's a level of compliance that can be positive, right? And there's a level of compliance that can be negative. So I want you guys to really think about, we'll do a chat poll here because I'm just curious to see what you guys have to say. Have you ever been in a situation where you saw something bad happening and you kind of just didn't get involved because you didn't want to make things weird? Maybe it was with a friend who was doing something bad. Maybe it was someone in your class you noticed that was cheating. Maybe it was someone that was stealing from someone else and you said I don't want to get involved because it's just too much for me. It's going to make things weird. I want you guys to think about that. Think about if you've ever been compliant in someone doing something bad there. Growing up, I feel like I've encountered lots of situations where I've seen people do bad things and, I didn't really say anything because it's it's kind of weird. I don't know. I don't want them to hate me. But that level of conformity is sacrificing yourself. It's not speaking up for yourself. And it ends up hurting someone else along the way. See what you guys have to say. I asked you guys there, have you ever observed someone doing something bad and didn't want to speak out because you don't want to make things weird? Synchro Legend says yes, many times in middle school. Nija says yeah. Hamish says no. Rage Master says no. Jalen says yes, because my friends talk dirty about girls and I don't want my crush to hate me. Yeah, Jalen, that's a good example there. So if your friends, let's say, are talking dirty about girls and they're saying mean things about them and they're calling them names and it makes you feel uncomfortable, that's a level where you could speak up. That's a level where you could say, hey guys, that's not cool, man. There's no reason to call them that. No reason to say those words. No reason to call people those names. I think that there's a fear sometimes in doing that because you feel like your friends are going to get upset with you. But this is where really this idea of not losing who you are matters, right? Because if something is important to you, if something makes you feel uncomfortable, it's important to speak out and share that. It's important to not just go along with it because you feel like, all right, I don't want to rock the boat. Scott says, my old friends used to bully people and I used to just stand there. I didn't do anything. I'm not friends anymore and I've apologized to the bullied person. I felt awful. Scott, I had the exact same story there. I remember in middle school, there was a kid that a lot of kids in the school used to bully and I kind of went along with it. And I felt kind of bad, but I just didn't really do anything because I felt like, all right, well, I don't want them to bully me, so I'm just going to kind of let them bully him. Let's see, Hamish says, I always got involved and got beaten up badly. I hear you on that, Hamish. Standing up for the right thing is not always the easy choice to make, but it's the important choice to make. Grace Jacovone says, it's not really I want to be someone else, but I am a girl with short hair and I feel like I am different and ugly. I'm trying to grow it out, but it takes so long. All the other girls have long hair. I hear you on that, Grace. I understand that. Look, there's nothing wrong with admiring long hair or saying, I want to have long hair and I want to get there. But I want you to understand this, Grace. Hair is the perfect representation of small steps, right? Your hair takes time to grow out. Like you guys see, I got a haircut recently. Maybe in a month, I'm going to need to get another haircut. It's going to be all bushy. You'll see if you come back in a month to my live streams. it takes time. It's a process. So if your hair is growing out, you have to recognize it's going to take some time. But I think in the meantime, you having long hair is not going to make you a better person. It's just going to make you different from where you are now. So the best thing you can do is to recognize, Grace, that what you bring to the table right now matters just as much as whether you have short hair or long hair. You're still an awesome person for just being you, for the things that you like, for the things that you share, for the jokes that you make, for the person you are. So, having long hair isn't going to change that. It might make you feel differently and act differently, sure, but who you are deep down inside is everything you need to be right now. So if you can learn to love and appreciate who you are inside, that's going to go further and take you further than having long hair. Azim says, why do things backfire when you try to do good? This is a deep philosophical question there. Why do things backfire when we try to do good? Well, I think a lot of times people around us are comfortable just doing whatever they want to do. And people don't like being called out or challenged or put in check. And I think that if you know that something is wrong, if you know someone's participating in something that's wrong, it is so important to speak out. Yes, it may make things uncomfortable. It may make things odd between you and your friends, but choosing to do the right thing is not always the easy choice. It just isn't. But I think that if you take a back seat and you let someone get bullied, or you let someone get made fun of, or you let someone get sexually harassed, I think ultimately you're doing a disservice to them and you're doing a disservice to yourself. Because, to me, that's the opposite of being your best self, right? Your best self is being confident in what you want. And if what you want is for that harm to not happen, then you're not really being confident, are you? But that's a really good question, Azim. Haramar says, I get involved and I get beat up when walking home. I hear you on that. Look, guys, I'm not saying go out and pick a fight with every bully that exists, but I think that if you can stick up and for someone, if you can stop bad things from happening, it's important to do that. Because I know, look, you're all good people. You all have good hearts. And you're all caring people. I know that. We've had so many conversations here. Hey, Juliana, how's it going? So I want you to really just think to yourselves, am I just going along with something because everyone else is? Or, am I doing it out of fear? Am I doing it out of, when do you want to end this? I'm probably going to end this in a few minutes here. This is kind of the fifth point. I'm going to do a recap and then we're going to do a mindful moment. But that's kind of, I think, the approach we need to think about, guys. Thomas Goodwin says, I've seen that type of situation before where people try to be like others. Yeah, it's something that I think a lot of people do. They want to be like others because it makes them feel good. It makes them feel accepted. But I'll walk you guys through the 5 points again. But ultimately, the theme of this stream was 5 ways to fit in and be liked without changing who you are, right? And what I ultimately wanted to pull in here and have you guys think about, and I'll pull it up one more time, is we were talking originally about Maslow's hierarchy of needs and this state of love and belonging, of wanting to be accepted, of wanting to be heard and seen and felt, is totally normal. Those are normal feelings to have. It's right there smack dab in the middle of those hierarchy of needs. But it can also have an adverse effect if you start to feel like you're conforming just for the sake of conforming, just because other people around you are doing it too. And as I said with the 5th point, these are kind of the tips that you can do. If you see someone kind of bullying, if you see someone doing something wrong, speak up when you feel it's wrong. Call out others and challenge them if they are doing something unethical. One of my friends loves to litter. Maybe not love is the wrong word. He is apathetic. He doesn't care if he litters. He throws garbage on the ground and just walks away from it. And every time I see him do this, it makes me feel bad. It makes me feel like, dude, no, don't do that, man. Don't throw your garbage on the ground like that. That's not cool. So I feel the need to speak up and say something to him. I always say, hey, dude, go pick up your garbage, man. Or if you don't want to throw it away and you're going to throw it on the ground, give it to me, man, and I'll throw it out. Just don't throw it on the ground. I don't like that. It makes me feel bad. It makes me feel uncomfortable, and it's not a nice thing to do. So it's important to speak out, whether it's big or small, when you encounter something that makes you feel uncomfortable. But I want to walk you guys through these 5 points again. We'll go through them quickly here. Let's go. Point number 1. We're talking about 5 ways to fit in and be liked without changing who you are. And the first way that people tend to kind of conform is informationally, right? So informational conformity is when you hear something and you kind of take it at face value. You don't investigate it. You don't do research. You don't look it up to see if it's true. Now, people sometimes do this with rumors. Some people sometimes do this when they hear gossip. They just believe what's being said and spread the rumor, assuming that it's true. So try to not fall into that. Try to not fall into informational conformity. Instead, try to question the things you hear. Try to investigate them. Try to learn more about them to see if they're true. That's the best way that you're really going to kind of operate with the most accurate information, and you're going to kind of push yourself forward as someone that speaks the truth and honors the truth rather than someone who doesn't. The second type of conformity here is normative conformity. This is when you start to change your behavior so that you can better fit in. Maybe you see a cool group of people and everyone dresses the same way. They all wear a leather jacket. They all dye their hair. They all kind of wear chains on their clothing. And you tell yourself, you know what? I want to be just like everyone else. I want to fit in. So I'm going to change who I am a bit so that other people accept me, so that I'm just part of the norm, right? This is something I think a lot of us do to some degree. But it can lead to negative effects if you start to kind of take on some of the bad behaviors that other people have. You start to just do what everyone else is doing because the whole group is doing it, right? If the whole group decides to go out and drink on a school night, you're going to go drink because everyone else is doing it too. So try to not fall into this type of normative conformity. Instead, what you can do is establish your own personal boundaries and just practice being understanding of others. Recognize that, hey, you know what? If it's something you want to do, that's your decision. But I personally don't want to do that myself, so I'm not going to go along with it. Establishing those boundaries is going to help you feel more confident in what you have to say and what you have to share. So make sure to really focus on kind of letting people know where you stand on things, so you're not kind of pushed into something that you're going to regret, you're not going to enjoy altogether. The third type of conformity here is identification, altering behaviors to fit a role that is expected of you. This one tends to happen when there's a lot of pressure on you to do something or act in a certain way from other people, right? This can happen from your parents. This can happen from your friend group. It can happen from your teachers. It can happen from anyone that has an idea of what you should do, and you feel the need and the desire to match what they want you to do, right? Let's say you are in a relationship and your partner tells you, you know what, you should be more muscular because you don't look good unless you have muscles. Well, you might start to feel like, well, if I don't have muscles, my partner is not going to love me. So you might start exercising just because you want to keep their attention and you feel like they're not going to love you otherwise. So I think that, if you feel that you're falling into this, type of sense of being, this identification, I think what you can do in those moments is this. Recognize what's meaningful to you. Recognize what you enjoy. Pursue what is meaningful and don't settle for what others want you to do. It's okay to take a chance. It's okay to tell yourself, you know what? I want to do things my own way. I want to find my own path. I want to kind of be my own person and not just conform to the norm here. It's important to recognize that for yourself. Juliana says, I don't have confidence. I'm in 6th grade middle school. I'm falling into informational conformity. I hear you on that, Juliana. Juliana, what I would recommend doing is this. I think that one way to kind of battle that informational conformity is to, when you hear rumors, when you hear gossip, tell yourself, do I know if this is true? If you don't know if it's true, talk to the person that the rumor's about, or ask the person that's spreading it. How do you know this is true? If they can't give you a real answer, don't believe it. Don't spread it. But Juliana, I understand it's hard. I think it's important to be confident in yourself, and I'll tell you how to do that in a second. But first, I want to get to Azim's super chat. Azim, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Azim said, if you're pursuing something if you're pursuing something or doing whatever you want without listening to others, is it selfish? Interesting point. Are we not told to care less about what others think? Now, here's my honest, true opinion. If you are making a decision moving forward in your life that you feel is going to benefit you and is going to allow you to feel more comfortable and happy, it's not a selfish decision. Sometimes people will get on your case and make you feel like if you're not choosing what they want, that you're being selfish. If you're not doing things according to how they want, then you're being selfish. But that's not the case, right? You have to make decisions in your own life that you feel are going to help propel you forward. If you're only making a decision because you don't want to disappoint someone or you don't want to make someone upset, then I think the real selfish person is that other person, right? They're the ones being selfish because they're not taking into account how you feel. They're not taking into account what you like and what your thoughts are. They're just speaking on their own behalf of what they want. And that you are second in that equation. You're in the back seat. But yeah, I think that, and when it comes to, are we not told to care less about what others think? I think it's important to it isn't so much about not caring what others think, but it's not putting what others think ahead of what you think and ahead of what you want, right? So other people can share their opinions and their thoughts and they can give advice and they can kind of direct you in some way, but other people shouldn't be making the decisions for you in your life. You have to feel like the decisions you make are ones you can stand by, ones that you feel you care about, ones that you feel are going to lift you up and not bring you down. So I hope that's helpful, Azim. Thank you again for the $5 super chat. As for the person who disliked the video, guys, it's okay. It's just a dislike. I think the person disliked the video before I even began. So they didn't even sit for the stream and decide if they liked it or not. So who cares what they think? But yeah, and Azim, I think that your question is something that a lot of people are experiencing or thinking about too. So thank you for asking it. I think that it's a question on a lot of people's mind. Midorn says, I just rejected someone. Is it okay, Josh? It's okay to reject someone. You don't have to date or go out with everyone that likes you. You can choose to not be with someone too. All right, let me get back into those points there, guys. I was saying I was on point number 3, I believe. Identification. Point number 4 is internalization. Wanting to change yourself so you can be more like someone else. This tends to happen when you feel jealous, when you feel insecure around someone else, when you feel like you're not good enough compared to them. I think that what you can really do support love button. I don't know what love button is. I think that this internalization it tends to happen when you're in a situation where you know, like you admire someone else, but you start to feel like you're not good enough compared to them. You feel like you don't have enough. You don't stand out enough compared to them. So what I think you should really, really focus on is, what I think you should really, really focus on here instead is simply this. Think about what you admire about that other person. What exactly do you like about them? What exactly do you think that they're doing right? And how can you learn from it and then incorporate that back into your own life? That's something that you can kind of redirect your focus and your attention from feeling bad for who you are to feeling good about who you are and recognizing that there's ways to grow, ways to learn, and ways to expand and try something new. Thank you so much for the like, Juliana. If you guys haven't already, for anyone who hasn't already liked the video, hit the thumbs up on this video if you guys are enjoying this stream and you find it helpful in some way. But that's the 4th point here. Let's get to point number 5 here, compliance. This is the 5th type of conformity. This is basically when, you observe someone doing something wrong, but you are afraid to speak out because you think it's going to make things weird, or you don't want to get into a fight with someone, or you don't want to get yelled at, or you don't want to get in trouble. It's important to speak out and to let people know if they're doing something wrong, that they can't keep that up because you're getting hurt from not speaking up. You're feeling bad. That person's getting hurt on the receiving end. It's a lose-lose situation here. So if you're in that situation where you feel like you need to be compliant with something that's wrong, speak up. Speak your mind. Call people out. There's nothing wrong with letting people know, hey, don't speak like that. Hey, don't do that, man. Hey, that's not cool. Hey, don't support that. Hey, stop that. These are all normal things to say when you witness someone doing something wrong. So I want you guys to really think deeply about those points. Think deeply about conformity. Think deeply about what it means to fit in, right? Because, this whole live stream I've been talking about fitting in and trying to find that balance. And if you just go along with what everyone says and what everyone does and you sacrifice who you are, yeah, you'll fit in perfectly, right? But if you totally push back against everyone for everything, it's going to be hard to be liked, right? People are going to be like, well, that guy doesn't like doing anything. He doesn't like talking to anyone. He's against everything. So what is that healthy balance? Well, I leave that for you to decide. what I wanted to do here was present the information for you to think about in your own life. What are some of the challenging moments, some of the hardships you're dealing with, some of the moments where you are encountering moments where maybe it makes sense to conform, or maybe it makes sense to not conform. Either way, I want you to know that I support you, that I care about you, and I want you to succeed. I know these decisions and these choices and these paths in life are not easy ones to make. Sometimes you might even choose a path that you feel is wrong or you realize is a mistake. And it's okay. It's okay to look back and realize that sometimes we don't always make the right choice. But we can learn from those choices and we can do better next time. That's all that can be asked of us, guys, that we try to do better next time. Guys and girls and everyone else, it is time for our mindful moment. This is my favorite part of the stream. I have my little bell here. It's my favorite part of the stream because it's a moment for us to take just 10 seconds to close our eyes and reflect on what we've heard, what we've talked about in the stream, the different thoughts that ran through your mind, the different actions you want to take, and how you're going to carry forward. So everyone that's watching, if you're wearing headphones or earphones, there's going to be a sound of the bell, so it may be a little loud, so you may want to pull one out or lower the volume, but I want you guys to take just a moment. We'll close our eyes together, and let's think about how we can best present ourselves, how we can best put ourselves out there for people to like us. Because I like you just the way you are. I think you're an awesome person, each and every single one of you. I feel like I've talked to every single one of you on a one-to-one level at some point. You guys are all awesome people. And that's not something you should ever hide or feel ashamed of. So let's take 10 seconds. We'll close our eyes and we will think about who we are deep inside, the person that matters that we want to share with the world. Think about putting that person front and center and letting people see how awesome you really are. Let's close our eyes. Let's warm up the bell. We're going to warm it up. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the live stream. I hope this live stream was helpful for you guys in some way. I hope that the information I shared here is something that you can think about, digest, and move forward and just feel like you can make positive changes in your life. Rage Master, thank you for bringing it up. I'll pull it up real quickly here. Real quick. Let's do it. Right now, I'm going to go live over on Instagram. So if you're someone that's watching right now, go follow me over on Instagram at The Josh Speaks. Be a part of our Instagram live stream after party. I love to bring you guys onto video chat. So if you want to jump on in video chat and talk about what's going on in your life, feel free to follow me over there and request to join when you guys get on there. Thank you guys again for being part of this live stream. I hope it was helpful in some way. And I want you to just recognize how special you really are. You know, like, I think you don't give yourself enough credit. Because I talk to you guys all the time and you guys are doing such amazing things with your life. You're learning, you're growing, you're exploring, and I just want you to know that I'm incredibly proud of you. Thank you again for watching the live stream. Check out the video resources over there, and I'll catch you next time. As always, love and peace. See you guys over on Instagram.